In a liberal arts tradition, with an average class size of 14, inspiring professors that we're all on a first-name basis with, and a third of them live right on campus, and 40 incredible majors and minors, such as environmental studies, creative writing, outdoor leadership, gender and women's studies, social work, peace and justice studies, theater, and special advising areas in pre-vet medicine and Peace Corps studies. The second part of the triad is work. As one of only 7 work colleges in the U.S., much like Sterling, we have a campus-wide work program where each student logs 15 hours a week in one of 114 different crews. The work program teaches a wide range of significant skills that reinforce and complement academic learning while giving students experience in problem solving, organization, communication, leadership, and teamwork. Our students are relied upon for running the campus farm, which raises organic, antibiotic, and hormone-free cattle, pigs, and chickens. Others repair computers, build theater sets, help catalog artifacts from our on-campus dig. They do blacksmithing and web design, oversee wellness programs like yoga, tai chi, and contra dancing. They're gardeners, accountants, plumbers. They write our literary magazines. And they cook every meal, whether it's in our cafeteria or in a brick pizza oven. The third part of this triad is service learning, a transformative component of the triad experience, simultaneously humbling and empowering. By graduation, our students do at least 100 hours of community service within the Asheville area and around the world. Using knowledge gained from classes or skills picked up on their work crews, students might be a big brother and big sister, a reading tutor at a local elementary school, repair the plumbing in a homeless shelter in Georgia, hand feed an orphan fawn at the Carolina Nature Center, or participate in an alternative spring break trip by working with coal mining towns in West Virginia, doing trail restoration on Cumberland Island, or working with the Sioux Indians and Conscious Alliance on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. Undergirding our campus community is a deep commitment to ongoing practices of sustainability, woven into the very fabric of our everyday life. Basically, environmental responsibility is second nature at Warren Wilson College. Surrounded by forests, farm, gardens, a pond, 25 miles of hiking trails, and mountains that go on forever, the college integrates its environmental ethos into every aspect of campus life. Within our community, you'll discover a 30-year-old campus-wide recycling and composting program, a river-friendly farm, and 25-year-old gardens, energy conservation practices such as golf carts that run on solar power and other vehicles powered by propane and biodiesel. We have an eco-dorm, LEED-certified buildings, green walkabout tours, and a vegan dining hall called the Cow Pie Cafe. Our building services crew uses green cleaning materials. That's our eco-dorm. We have an eco team that teaches environmental ed to 3rd graders. Sodexo, our food service provider, just hired a sustainability coordinator and bought us a 2,800-foot hoop greenhouse, which should help supply an unprecedented volume of produce throughout the winter. Our college press tries to use tree-free paper, called Canaf plant paper, as much as possible. And one of our creative writing courses this fall is called Write What You Eat, Food, Culture, and Sustainability. We also have an environmental leadership center with a chief sustainability officer that spearheads such inspiring projects as on and off campus, like Insulate, climate greening seed grants, the Headwaters Gathering, emissions testing, and a climate action partnership with Asheville. It's clear that Olney and Warren Wilson College share core values: academics, work, and service, community and civic engagement, participatory governance, experiential and innovative education, sustainability, environmental responsibility, social and economic justice, diversity, inclusivity, international and cross-cultural understanding, wellness, personal growth, and well-being. Finding a balance between living in the world as it is and leading a transformation can be daunting, but I congratulate each and every one of you for being here today to think, dream, and share in the evolution and limitless possibilities that the future of Olney holds. Thank you.
I should stand here, right? Okay. So I'm just going to kind of shuffle through these and ask them as Anne-Marie hands them to me. And feel free to keep asking questions, and she'll still be coming around if you just hold it up. Okay, this is for the Klines. What has been the most rewarding aspect of starting Farming a Magazine, and what is the most rewarding part of your Amish lifestyle? Thank you. It says it's fun.
I guess I would say for the readers that we have of the magazine, they're just the nicest people. We get such nice letters that encourage us to keep on. And especially if we might get a letter from somebody and said, through reading the magazine, they've bought their own little farm. So that means a lot. And as far as Amish lifestyle, that's hard to answer in a couple words, but I once read a little saying that said, choose work that is in harmony with your values, and I guess that's what we're doing.
As Elsie said, those sometimes say it's Farming Magazine. We have a lot of help from the family, some neighbors and friends. We have a niece and nephew that do the copy editing. They not do it for us, but quite a few other publications, and do an excellent job. So we have a lot of people helping, and we sometimes say we don't have time for it. Let's just quit it, and then we get this nice letter from a reader, and that keeps us going. And it's sort of like an Amish minister. It's a lifetime job without pay, but to say the rewards are out of this world.
Thank you. One quick one. Someone asks that Bryan define watershed for us really quickly. What does that word mean?
A watershed is any area of land that drains, or I should say any location drained by a particular stream or creek. When we talk about watersheds, we're talking about the amount of water that is collected in what's called a recharge area. That would be like your backyard, for example, when rain falls or snow falls and then melts. It then enters what's called the groundwater table. And as the groundwater table fills up, the water comes to the surface. It creates springs, seeps, creeks, little side tributaries, and then those tributaries form together to make larger creeks, and then those creeks form together to make rivers, which drain into the ocean. So the watershed is the area of land that's occupied by a particular stream or creek that drains a particular area.
Sort of related to that, David and Elsie, how do you maintain a climate for birds and wildlife on your farm?
That is, we're always very conscious of that. And I'll just tell you one story that has worked so well. You know, we keep all our fields are surrounded by sod, and we have, I can say, almost no runoff. So we're very. My dad was very conscious of that. But we have a large population of bobolinks, and they arrive usually around April 28th. And you know, many farmers start cutting hay about May 15th. And the bobolinks are late nesters. They come. The male comes about a week before the female, maybe 10 days before the female. Before his mate arrives, he sings and he sings and he sings and he sings, and he dillies and he dallies and he dillies and he dallies, and they don't start nesting. The red-winged blackbirds nest in a hurry. The Savannah sparrows, those nest. But the bobolinks don't. It finally dawned on me. They're native to the tallgrass prairies, where those are warm season grasses, and they grow out. We have a clump of big blue stem, actually 2 clumps by the mailbox. And by the time we start cutting hay, that's only this tall. It's very slow to grow out. You know, the grasses of the tallgrass prairie. So the bobolinks waited. It's in their DNA to wait for those grasses to provide cover. So what we do now, my son-in-law suggested this, that we graze lightly, every 10 days or so, and then just let it grow up, graze it, and we don't cut it until about July 1st. And this year, I counted 50 male bobolinks in that field, flocking when we were mowing, already finished with the nesting season. And then the next field was oats, and when we cut the oats, about 3 weeks later, there were hundreds of young bobolink feeding in the oats. So it works. And again, just a bright young mind that sparked that idea. And of course, I'll let Elsie explain about the gardens, the butterflies. This year, for only the second time in our 42 years of married life, we saw the giant swallowtail in our garden, the butterfly. And Elsie said, "There's a giant swallowtail out here," and I didn't even put the paper down because I didn't believe her.
He was wrong. But for years, I have always planted things in the garden that I know that butterflies like. Just common things like zinnias, coneflowers, phlox, and it just really brings them in. And then I like...
And also that summer lilac or the butterfly bush.
Yeah, the butterfly bush. And I like the idea. Our farm and our 3 neighbors' farms, there's about how many hundred
Almost
acres?
500 acres.
500 acres in that entire area that there's not any spray on all that land. So I've got this nice feeling that those butterflies are fine. They're not going to be hurt by any.
2 sort of related questions here for Keri. One, how do Warren Wilson's jobs help the community? And then the second one that is a little related to that, which successful programs from Warren Wilson do you think could be implemented at Olney?
Those are good and tough. Well, I think a couple of neat things. We've definitely expanded our work within the Warren Wilson community and then within the Asheville and greater Asheville areas with our work in the markets and with beef sales and vegetable sales and selling different flour products. But we spend a lot of time doing community service within the Asheville area. We've started a lot of gardens. There's a big garden in Black Mountain that our students have worked at for years and years. We do a lot of trail work. We work with Manna Food Bank. We work with the homeless. We have something really neat during the first week of orientation for our students where all new students go out into the community along with all the faculty and staff, and we do a big project. So one year we worked down at Amboy Park and we did all sorts of trail maintenance and river restoration, and 4 days later everything got flooded out. But that just happens every once in a while. So we have a lot of ties in the community, which I tell my students too, it's a great way to get your foot in the door to work for an NGO or an organization that you're really passionate about and something that you're thinking about pursuing. Now, what was the second question?
The second part was, which successful programs from Warren Wilson do you think could be implemented here?
I don't think I have a quick answer for that. Can I come back to that in about 7 minutes?
course.
Okay, I will. I will get back to you, though. Thanks, Hannah.
There was one question here for all of you, and it was from one of our Olney students, and it's something that I want to ask also. How do you all think that we can become more in tune with our place? Maybe we should come back to that one also.
You mean in tune with the land, or in tune with your mission?
I don't. I think those 2 things are tied. I think that that's one of the things about Olney Friends Schools, that the land and our mission are part of a braid, and I think that's part of what the summit is about, is figuring out how to make that braid stronger.
I think it may start with recognizing, what, if you're going to rely on the land as part of your mission, you need to recognize the strengths and weaknesses, what its capabilities are, regardless of what they be, develop them, and I don't know. I guess that's the direction I would think to take that answer if the group wants to